Hi guys, it's Elise from MyCupcakeAddiction, and on today's episode I'm going to be showing you how to make these sweet little fondant owl cupcake toppers. Owls are such a popular theme for so many different birthdays and party occasions. I've also made owl cake pops over on my channel, so make sure you check those out if you're owl crazy. But let's get started with these gorgeous little toppers. The things that you'll need for today's tutorial: I've got some plain tap water. I'm using a couple of circle cutters, so I've got a larger, just a plain circle cutter, and then I've got a smaller scalloped circle cutter. I'm using a small piping tip here, but if you don't have a piping tip in about this size, you can also look at using something like just a pen lid or something that's going to give you just a really nice small circle. I've got a paintbrush, a knife, and a bit of wax paper, some corn flour in a shaker. I'm opting for fondant today, but as I said, you can also use modelling chocolate here. So I've got mine in purple, pink, and orange. I'm using a fondant rolling pin, and I've also got a couple of Wilton candy eyes. So let's get started. So the first thing that we want to do is just put down a little bit of corn flour, and we're just going to roll out that pink fondant or modelling chocolate. And you don't want to roll this too thin. With these toppers, I love them because they can be made in advance, but if you want them to stand up on a cupcake a little bit like I have and not lay completely flat on the top, you do actually want to make these about 6 to 12 hours in advance, just so they've got a bit of time to dry. I'm going for about that thickness for my fondant because I want them to have enough support and stability to hold their own weight. So you want to take your circle cutter now, and we're just going to cut just a straight edge circle. And then out of your straight edge circle, you want to cut just a little bit of a football-sized nick out of the top. Because owls' bodies aren't completely round, I'm just going to use my fingers here just to kind of push in the sides a little bit. And that's going to keep that nice round bottom and top, but it's sort of flattening off the sides a little bit. And then you want to grab it and just use your fingers just to pull up those ears and just define them a little bit. And I'm also using my thumb here to sort of push down that little circle to make it a little bit deeper. There's your little owl body shape. So now you want to add a little bit of kind of like his chest feathers, and we're going to use the piping tip or your pen lid for that. I found it easiest just to do sort of 2 on the bottom row, 2 or 3. And I'm just using just the very, very bottom half of my piping tip. So I'm not putting the whole circle, I'm just putting a little half circle. So 3 on the bottom and then overlapping so that you're putting another one in between the join, 4 on the next row. And you don't need to come all the way up your owl's body. About halfway to a third of the way is fine. Rolling out your purple fondant now, and you can make this a little bit thinner. This is going to be for the wings. And then taking that circle cutter again, just cut yourself out a circle. And then we're going to cut another 2 of those little football shapes for the wings. So really these owls are just made up of just some really, really basic shapes. Try to get them roughly the same size. Beautiful. Now to give those wings a little bit of texture, I just used just the knife and just kind of put some little lines in the center of them. And this is really just so they've got a little bit of texture and they don't look so flat. And then a little bit of water to attach those wings on. You just want to put your water just sort of on one side of the wing, not on the whole thing, because the whole thing's not going to be stuck, only one side of it is. And then you want to bring it with your wings, you want to start them just below where I guess the dip of your head is, and make sure that they're about 3/4 of the way over the owl with just the very edge hanging off. That's going to stop them from drooping. Beautiful. Now a little bit more water, and you can add on your little fondant eyes or your little Wilton eyes. So just a bit of water on the back. And water always just acts like your glue when you're working with fondant or modelling chocolate. Just below the line of the top of the wings there. Then you want to roll out just a little bit of your orange fondant and roll this quite thin. This is going to be for our little feet. If you have access to little orange love heart sprinkles, which you can get in packs of multicoloured, you can also use that here, and then you wouldn't need the extra orange fondant and the little serrated cutter. So I'm just going to cut a little serrated circle, or a little scalloped circle, and then I'm going to cut almost a little love heart shape out of it. So just sort of coming down on 2 lines and taking 2 of those little scalloped edges, and again over this side. So a little bit of water on the back, and I'm going to stick them down right at the bottom of my little owl there. And then take this other little kind of scrap and just roll it into a ball before fashioning it into a bit of a kind of a carrot shape or a cone shape. Just check the size, a little bit more off the end. You don't want this nose to be too big, or you don't want his beak to be too big, so you need it to be in proportion. A little bit of water, I'm going to put the water straight down onto my topper. Down goes his little beak right in between his eyes. So there you've got your finished, gorgeous and really simple little owl cupcake toppers. These are perfect for topping cupcakes, but let your imagination run wild. You can also use them on cakes, you could use them for cookies. They have so many different uses. You can make them up to a week in advance, store them in an airtight container. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, My Cupcake Addiction, make sure you head on over and hit the subscribe button for 3 times weekly uploads. And as always, thanks very much for watching My Cupcake Addiction.